Okay, guys, welcome to Forte and Goal. Today we're doing just the Thanksgiving Day picks. We're previewing, making predictions on the three games today. It's funny because I can remember when there were only two games, but we can't get enough football, right? And I know I'm happy that we get to see more football on Turkey Day. So the first game we're going to be previewing is the Chicago Bears traveling to the Detroit Lions. They're always playing on Thanksgiving Day. The Bears are only 3-7, and the Lions are even worse. They're 0-9-1 after that very close victory with the Steelers, where they went to overtime and ended up with a tie. So, needless to say, with these records, neither team is really playing great football. But that doesn't mean it won't be an entertaining game. I mean, the Bears still have a quality defense. The Lions have shown life at times. It'll be interesting to see whether the Lions finally get their first win of the season on Thanksgiving Day. Let's take a look at some interesting factoids. So Jared Goff. Andy Dalton, let's start with that, is the first quarterback to start consecutive Thanksgiving games for multiple teams. That's since Joey Harrington from Detroit, Miami, Atlanta back in 2005-2007. So 6 teams so far in NFL history had their first win of the season on Thanksgiving. Will the Lions be number 7? We'll see. As far as quarterback comparisons, the rookie Justin Fields, his record is 2-6, 58.1% completion percentage. He has 4 TDs, 8 interceptions, and he has a 69 passer rating. Meanwhile, Andy Dalton is 1-1. He's completing 65.8% of his passes, 3 TDs, 1 interception. He has a 91.8 passer rating. So this is the couple of things. Analytics expert Cynthia Froyline has the Bears winning in 56.9, so 57% of her simulations, with the projected score being 23-19. It's funny, these analytics, they're not the holy grail. Saw that last week with the Cowboys. The Lions have exactly 77 passing yards in each of their last 2 games, their longest such streak since weeks 1 and 2 in 1978. The Bears have won 6 of their last 7 meetings against the Lions, and the Lions have scored fewer than 20 points in 9 straight games. That's their longest streak since 1988. So, some interesting factoids right there. My take on this, and today's video will be quick, short and sweet, just 3 games. My take on the Bears against the Lions is that you got to give the advantage to the Bears. They can produce some points just by that. I do think that Justin Fields is dangerous, and he can create some opportunities for that offense. They do have a few weapons. All in all, I would say that this is a team that is going to be hungry for a win, and one of the other reasons why they're going to be so hungry is because Matt Nagy needs to win this game in the worst way. If they were to lose, forget it. Nagy is going to be out. Now, having said that, the Lions need a victory, and this is a great opportunity, and they're home. History is against them. Goff, I don't think, is 100% healthy. They do have some other key injuries. Will they finally find a way to win? That's the question. I like that they're home. That gives them an advantage. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with the Bears. I call it chalk. I'm going to have to go with the Bears on this one. I think the Bears win the game. Low-scoring game. I think it's going to be 17-13. 17-13. The Bears win this game. Okay, next up we've got prime time, the Raiders traveling to Dallas. The Raiders are 5-5. Cowboys are now 7-3 after that loss to KC. Again, giving you this information the latest possible time. I just found out CeeDee Lamb will not be playing in this game, and that's a big one. That's a big one. We saw the Cowboys receivers struggle to separate against the defensive backs, defensive backfield for the Chiefs. And to me, the fact that Jones was beating up pretty much anybody he lined up on, Chris Jones, the fact that the defensive backfield was doing its job and causing the Cowboys to hold the ball, causing Dak to hold the ball longer and throwing into some very tight coverage, that was the difference in the game. The pressure got home. They got an interception. Actually, they got two interceptions. One was a tip pass. The other one was just a little bit underthrown. Yeah, Dak missed a couple of throws. There were a couple of drops. But this goes back to the passing game, and this is where CeeDee Lamb is actually, him missing, not to mention Amari, this really hurts. Now, I think that guys like Cedric Wilson, Noah Brown, they're going to want to step up. They're going to feel, badly. They're going to feel bad for, how they performed last week. I say last week, but on Sunday, just a few days ago. It's still fresh in their taste buds. They have got to come out and have strong games. The offensive line, they've got to feel like, hey, it's time to it's time to dominate. They do get, the Cowboys, we do get Tyron Smith back. We're going to need him because the Raiders do a good job of bringing pressure when you're passing. They don't do such a great job in the running game defensively. They offensively, the team can run, but they don't really run that well. Where they excel is their passing game has been very effective. That's probably going to slow down a little bit because they don't have Ruggs anymore. So that's a huge issue for them. They are operating right now with a interim head coach. I feel like this team is, kind of a boat without a rudder in many aspects. But let's look at some insights, okay? So, first we're going to compare the quarterbacks. I mean, Derek Carr has had a very good season. He's completing 68.5 completion percentage, 257 passing yards per game. He has this is since week 9. He has 4 TDs, 4 interceptions, and his passer rating is 85.9. Now, Dak, over that period of time, and Derek Carr during that period was 0-3. Dak is 1-2 during that same time span. He's completed 62.8 completion percentage, 248 yards per game. He has 4 TDs during that time, 3 interceptions, 82.6 passer rating. So both quarterbacks come into this game basically struggling. The last time the Raiders and the Cowboys met head-to-head with both teams were 500 or better was in Week 12. That was in '95. Cowboys won the Super Bowl that year. The Raiders have scored fewer than 17 points in each of the 5 losses this season, and they've scored 26-plus points in each of the 5 wins. That's something to keep an eye on. So let's see how the Cowboys hold them down, or if they can. Now, for the record, Dak is 12-5 in his career, following a game in which he had 0 passing TDs, 12-5. Huge difference, I mentioned it already, but a huge difference in the wins versus the losses for Derek Carr. And here's an interesting one. Without Amari Cooper, the Cowboys are 20 with Dak. He's 23-15, 68% completion percentage. This is with Cooper. He has 304 passing yards per game, 73 TDs, 24 interceptions, 102.6 passer rating. Without Cooper, he's 25-15, 64.7 completion percentage, 215.6 passing yards per game, 53 TDs, 23 interceptions. His passer rating is 92.7. So there's a huge disparity when Cooper is not playing. This is the 3rd straight season that the Raiders have been 500 or better through their first 10 games, and they missed the playoffs in each of the previous 2 seasons. Cowboys are anything but average. The Cowboys are the only team ranked top 5 in both passing yards per game and rushing yards per game this season. The Raiders are 1-7 since 2018 versus opponents that entered the game 4+ games over 500. Too much stuffing. The Cowboys have lost 3 of their last 4 Thanksgiving games. So it's time to step up, Cowboys. Time to step up. Let's look at the stats, because I so love to see this. The Raiders are 16th in offense. The Cowboys right now are ranked 2nd, and that's after taking a big hit on Sunday. Defensively, the Raiders are 13th. The Cowboys are 16th. The Raiders are 3rd in passing. The Cowboys are 5th. The Raiders are 29th in rushing. The Cowboys are 7th. So, just to give you an idea, I do think in this game, you look at those stats, I think that they're pretty accurate. I think they tell the story. As I analyze this game, what I expect to see is, if I'm the Raiders, I don't want to let the Cowboys establish. I don't want them to establish any rhythm. I don't want the fans to get into the game. But I really, really don't want them to have rhythm. I don't want them to have confidence. I want to shut the run down right away, make it seem like it's an iron curtain, and then I want to make the Cowboys pass, because pass defense is where the Raiders excel. So this is where I'm going to say, hey, let's make it that way. And you don't even have your best receivers. So I'd want this to be a passing game for the Cowboys. I would want to shut the run down, force them to pass, and hope that our pass defense can hold up and make a difference. Offensively, I would want to. Offensively, I'd want to be aggressive. I mean, most of my damage is done through the air. I would test them in the running game, see how that goes. Maybe a little bit like Denver, cap some lightning in a bottle. For the Cowboys want to correct the things that went wrong. I think Kellen Moore, the OC, is going to say, hey, we didn't run the ball. We could have done a better job. We didn't run the ball as much as we should have. We didn't give the O-line a chance to sort of counteract the aggressiveness that the Chiefs, were having. I mean, think about it. If you're running upfield trying to get to the quarterback all the time, then wouldn't a draw play or a trap play, something like that, or a misdirection, wouldn't that be an effective run play? Of course it would. So I think that we're going to see a lot of running this week. I mean, this game from the Cowboys. I think they're going to lean on the running game as long as it works. If they don't, if it doesn't work, if they're just having too much trouble, then I think they will pass the ball, and I think they'll pass the ball effectively. With Tyron Smith on the left side and Lyle on the right and Connor a second start. I have mixed feelings about the Connor McGovern move at left guard, by the way. So, we're going to look at that, through the season and see, is that the right move, or because they just benched Williams because of penalties. So let's see how McGovern does. On the defensive side, I think the Cowboys are probably going to feel like, look, we've got to be more aggressive. Like, I didn't think that we put enough pressure on Mahomes. We did a nice job. They only scored 19 points, but I think we've got to get more pressure on the quarterback, not allowing, the kind of time. I think that all in all, the defense was not the issue last week, and I don't think it's going to be the issue this week. We're not getting anybody significant back in the lineup. D-Law will be back next week. All right, and he's activated, but he won't be back till next week. I'm looking for some plays. I'd like to see Trayvon Diggs get an interception this game. I think he will get one. And more turnovers in the special teams. Just keep kicking it through the uprights, and let's cover better, specifically on kickoffs. And we got close, but let's make it happen. Let's block a punt. I think the Cowboys will pretty much just be rectifying what they didn't do and need to do on offense. That'll be the majority of their focus. I expect the Cowboys to bounce back. This is a confident team that will not take losing and playing under under their ability, they won't take it lightly and they won't make excuses. They're just going to come back strong, like any good team will do. They'll learn from their errors. I think they're going to win the game, and I think they're going to win it, pretty handily. I would say we're going to come up with, I think the Cowboys will end up scoring at least 34 points. Yeah, I would say 30, maybe 30, 34, no, 31, because if they had more weapons right now, I'd say yes. 31, and the Raiders get 17, 31-17. Don't forget that stat that I read you, about 16 points per game, so it puts them right about there. 31-17, Cowboys win the game. I think they dominate. That's my take on it. Okay? Next up. So, next up, like I said, is the Bills traveling to the New Orleans Saints. The Bills are 6-4, and the Saints are 5-5, playing in the Superdome. So you know that's traditionally a tough place to play. But the Saints are not the Saints that they used to be. Here's some key interesting things, right? The Saints are 3-0. Are the only undefeated team on Thanksgiving among teams with at least 3 games played. How about that? Josh Allen. So New Orleans has allowed the most fantasy points per game to quarterbacks in the last 4 weeks. Josh Allen has 20-plus fantasy points in 6 games this season. Only Hurts has more among quarterbacks. I would have never guessed that Jalen Hurts would be in the top of this list, but it's mostly on his legs, because if you look at his passing yards, he's not doing a whole lot. But I got to give Hurts credit, because I didn't think he'd perform quite this well. And even though I didn't think that the Eagles were going to just fall off the earth this season, I didn't think they'd be, quite this competitive. I mean, they're in the hunt for a playoff spot as it stands right now. First half of games, they're averaging 4.3 points, 122.7 total yards, 69.3 passing yards, and 7 first downs, 23.5 third down percentage. But now in the second half of games, they're averaging 20.7 points per game, 234.7 yards, 108 total yards, that is, 186 passing yards, 0.7, 15 first downs, 55.6 third down percentage. So don't know what it is about the second half, but they turn it up when it matters the most. Is there a glitch in the matrix? The Bills have allowed 5 TDs to running backs not named Jonathan Taylor this season, but they allowed 5 to Taylor in Week 11. I don't even know what to say about Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I'm happy for him. I undervalued him for quite some time, but and I think I was right too. But this season, it's all coming together, and Taylor is having a breakout season. I don't know if it's going to slow down. We're going to have to see. Maybe in the next game he slows down. But he's working behind a good offensive line. Sean Payton is 3-0 in his career versus the Bills, plus 75 point differential in 3 games. Each of the Bills' last 14 wins have been by 10-plus points, the longest streak since the Rams back in 98 to 99. Also, from weeks 1 to 7, the Saints were 4-2 and had some better stats. I'm summarizing, but weeks 8 through 11, they're 1-3, and they have much weaker stats. It's always the case. I mean, you start to lose, the numbers just go down. The matchup, inside the matchup, the Bills have allowed 8 points per game in the first half this season. That's the second fewest in the NFL. The Saints have averaged 4.3 points per game in the first half in the last 3 games. So something's got to give. Let's look at the stats, okay? See if that makes any sense, right? So the Bills' offense is now ranked number 8. The offense for the Saints is 26th. The Bills still have the number 1 defense. The Saints are number 6th. The passing game for the Bills is ranked 8th. Saints is 28th. And rushing is almost the same, 15th for the Bills, 17th for the Saints. Now, I think these stats are pretty accurate. I would say that I respect the defense for the Saints more. I feel like the numbers for the Saints, the Bills defense is probably inflated because they played some really bad teams. The running game is going to be impacted by whether or not the Saints have Kamara. The Bills' offense is I don't think they're really operating as well as they could, although the numbers might say differently. And meanwhile, I don't think that the Saints have a particularly effective, especially consistent offense at all. It's all tricks. It's all the offense. The offensive line a lot for the Saints. That's their number one weapon offensively. Simeon and Taysom Hill. Had to think for a moment the name. These guys, I don't think either one of them is great. And Trevian I'm trying to remember the name. Bottom line is Simeon is going to throw some interceptions. Honestly, I mean that he's basically a backup quarterback. I don't see him. Trevor Simeon, there you go. I just don't see him carrying the team at all. So, good luck, Saints. I do think that the Bills are going to win this game. They're the better team. They've got a little bit more talent. I do think that the offensive line for the Saints, if they impose their will, can really dictate how well that Saints offense plays. Defensively, like I said, I respect the Saints defense. If they can turn around and create some turnovers, that could really shift the game. So it'll be closer than people think, but I just believe that the Bills are going to come out victorious in this game, even on the road. If they can just limit Josh Allen from dominating the game with his legs, particularly, they're going to be in good shape. The Lattimore has to play better, though. I think he had a horrible game last week. So, again, low-scoring game, close game. I see this game being about 27-24. The Bills will win the game. I thank you guys for tuning in. Hope everybody has a great gobble, and let's enjoy the games, okay? Speak with you soon.